Spoilers for chapter 1153 are out, so warning from here. Chapter's name is The Birth of Loki. Even though Hasridan is born in this chapter too, and he's the older brother, but whatever. This chapter, I would say, seems like a more lore-heavy chapter explaining to us the background of King Harald, Loki, Hasridan, and both their mothers. We find out that Harald met Ida, Hasridan's mother, and she has a very interesting design, I'll say at least, different from most of the other women Oda draws in One Piece. He saw her trapped in a circus and was enraged and destroyed the town to free her, but was scolded by Ida. Ida said that she was saved by them and was working in the circus to repay the kindness of the townspeople. Harald was humbled by this and fell in love with Ida and brought her home to Elbaf, where he began modernizing Elbaf and started forging alliances and going across the seas and basically becoming more of a benevolent sovereign. Years later, Hasridan was born, and honestly, I was expecting Hasridan's mother to be a human, but she's not. She's a giant, but apparently she's the smallest giant we have in the series. I saw something online that said that she was 10 meters tall, which is insanely short for a giant, of course, and Estrida is far taller, but we'll get into that. Harald wanted to marry Ida but was forbidden by the Elbaf elders. They chose another woman for him named Estrida, who was of pure Elbaf descent and obsessed with Omen. Now, even though she's of pure Elbaf descent, she does not have horns like Harald and Loki. She is insanely tall, however, way taller than the regular giant guards that's in the castle, but not as tall as Harald. Estrida gave birth to Loki, but was terrified of Loki's slit-like eyes and threw him into the underworld. And honestly, bro, Loki, his eyes look like the eyes of Sauron, bro. He looks like he's a demon from birth. I'm not gonna say that her throwing him straight into the underworld as a newborn baby was justified. By far, no. But yeah, I'd be a little scared too if your newborn opened their eyes and that's what you saw, bro. Damn. But this could be part of something deeper, because due to these eyes that Loki has, I think this confirms that the ancient giants of Elbaf were actually demons or demon-like beings or creatures that roamed the earth long, long, long ago. Because as Harald has horns, which is a sign of the ancient giant blood descended, and Estrida is descended from a pure Elbaf bloodline. So you get them together too, and you have Loki, who has horns but also these demon-like eyes, which could be Oda simply hinting at the power of the giants coming from this ancient demon-like race. Because I mean, bro, look at the number giants, bro. What even are they? You know what I'm saying? But they're still giants, but they're more animalistic in nature. This could also explain why when Imo does Domni Reversi, the giants become more gigantic and demon-like, because they're simply returning to their ancient form. The chapter ends, however, with baby Loki crawling from the darkness, surrounded by fallen bears, trying to climb the Adam tree to return to the castle. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, he looks hard as hell in this panel. His eyes straight up again, like I said, the eyes of Sauron. It's the pure Elbaf blood running through him, bro. And he's he landed there, bro, and he beat up some of the monsters down there and began crawling up the Adam tree as a baby. He survived the fall to the underworld from the sun world, bro. I'm just saying, that ain't no one got a feat like that as a baby. Now, the fact that we're getting Loki's backstory, I believe, further proof that he's gonna be joining the Straw Hats in some capacity. His slit-like eyes are definitely a strong nod to the ancient giant blood, and who knows, it could even give him enhanced Conqueror's perception, i.e., Conqueror's haki plus some crazy form of observation haki, maybe on the board, maybe much like Shanks' future sight or Fujitora's omnipresent observation haki. Who knows, bro? But I believe the direction we're heading in is understanding the power of the ancient giants, because to some capacity it sounds like Loki's mother could have been a seer. I don't know. They said she was obsessed with omens and prophecies and stuff, and that leaves the door open for another possibility, because since she's descended from pure Elbaf lineage, she would know the deep history of Elbaf, assuming that it's passed down through the families. So maybe, and this is headcanon now, maybe she heard a prophecy about a child who would be born with eyes like that, the same way the Sea Kings know that their sovereign would return in Shirahoshi. A lot of maybes there, but I would definitely say her fear for Loki as a newborn child was kind of completely irrational. And on top of that, she said that Loki would one day kill his father, which is sort of what happened, I guess. So we'll see how that plays out, but I'm just Loki is definitely gonna join the crew, because Luffy's already accepted him and he's gonna take off those blindfolds. Luffy's gonna see those eyes and he's gonna be like, oh, that's so cool. and he's going to be the first person to accept him truly for who he is, which is why Loki's going to be joining the crew. I'm throwing my hat into that corner of the ring. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure and like and subscribe and follow. This is just my spoiler video, and you know, we're streaming later, so if you all watch this today, check that out. Or if you're watching this at any point in time, I'm usually streaming later, so I'll see you all then, and thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.